Hey developers, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into an essential topic for any Blazor project, that is how to set up multiple layouts in your application. Now maybe you might be wondering, why would I even need more than one layout? Well, think about this scenario. You are building a modern web app with different user roles. You have got an admin dashboard packed with stats and controls. And then you have got a public-facing blog that is clean, simple, and content-focused. These two sections of your site have entirely different layout, right? Or imagine this. You are also working on an e-commerce application where the checkout page needs to be distraction-free, no sidebars or navigation menus. But for the main shop page, you want all that content, filters, and categories right there at the user's fingertips. That is where multiple layouts come in handy. They allow you to design these unique experiences for different parts of your application without necessarily duplicating code or breaking a suite. So whether you are creating an app for different roles, teams, or specific features, multiple layouts will make your project more scalable and maintainable. Now that you have understood the essence of using multiple layouts in your application, let's jump in and see how we can do this in our Blazor project. As you can see, I have my Blazor project created already defaultly, and now if I run this project, let's see the default setup that we have. So you can see that this is the default template that we have. Now let's say within this page we want to have our sidebar located here, and this page will be for administration, so admin. Now you don't want to use this template or this layout for a user and also somebody who just visits your site as an authenticated user. You want different layout for each. How do you handle multiple layout? Let's see, we're going to maintain this for an administrator. So let's close this. Let's go to solution. Now you can see we have a layout folder. You just have to open this layout folder. And in here we have this nav menu. Now on top of this nav menu, we want to change the name of this from Demo Blazor Multiple Layout from admin page. So this is an admin page. And when you check out here, we have a main layout. Now this main layout is an admin layout, so we can change this to admin layout. Now as soon as we change this to admin layout, you have to go to components. So let's see, we have pages. Now check this, that is an app.razor. Now app.razor has a default layout, and which one are you talking about? It is admin layout. So make sure that is the default. In case you want to have a default for this, let's maintain this admin layout. Or in case you want to have a general login page, then you can set that in here. For now, let's maintain this an admin layout. Later on, we come back and change this to a layout that we have created. So there's an admin layout. So we know that we have an admin layout. Now let's go ahead and create a user layout. Now for user layout, we don't want to have a sidebar. We want to go in there and have only nav bar. So in this case, what can we do? We can have our template from Bootstrap. So maybe let's go to Bootstrap and try to have our theme from there. So you can see when you come to Bootstrap, we can go in for our intro and we have our template in here. So we can grab this as a body tag in here, or we can create our own. Now for this, let's navigate to layout and let's have a look with the containers. So containers, what you want to focus here, it is the fluid and the container itself. So you want to have a fluid container, meaning the whole page, it covers the entire browser. So we can grab this container. Now let's go back. Let's create another component, so we can click on layout. Now let's add another razor component, and in here we want to name it as, well, we have an admin So this is well, we can say this is manager layout. Let's assume we are creating 3 layout. So manager layout. Now with this manager layout, let's paste this here. So this is a container fluid. And now when you have a look, when you go in and check for the admin layout inherit this layout component base. So in a layout, we want to also do same. That makes it as a layout. So we also inherit from same component. Now that we have this, let's go back to the Bootstrap. Now after we have this container, you want to have columns or grid. So columns will be okay. Now columns, you know, the full row here is about 12 columns. So in here we can get it from this. From the alignment, we have column. That is an auto, meaning each is 4, making 12 for a row. So we can grab one here, or when you go to grid, you can also find the same column down here. Now with this, let's grab this from this row because we have the container already. So you grab this row here, and let's go back to our app. Now in here, let's paste it. So you see we have a container fluid which covers the entire page. We have a row for section, and in that we have it divided into columns, 3 columns. Each approximately going to have 4 columns. Okay, so now that we have this, we want to maintain this as an admin. No, this one is a manager dashboard or manager layout. Now in that we want to put up nav bar. So we can get nav bar also from Bootstrap. Now let's set from the component, and let's check for nav bar. Now we have a default or sample nav bar. Let's go and grab any of them. So we can grab this. So let's grab this. Now let's go back to our page, and here we can paste our nav bar on top. If you want to create a component and I use it here, you can do that, or you can put it here to make it simple and readable. Let's create another component, and now this is manager navbar. Now this manager navbar, let's paste what we have. Let's go back to the layout and let's add a navbar here. So in here we are dividing it into 3, but we don't want to do that. We have our row. So in our body we want to maintain, so we can remove all this. So it tells you that here we are having only the row. Now the column section will come in the various components. So we can go in and specify your body here. That is at, then have your body. Is that at? Okay. So now you have your layout set. Now that you have this layout set, how do you add this? So let's remember the name of this layout as manager layout. Let's go to our page. Now in here we have a component. So let's say from this, the home will be anybody who gets into it as an unauthenticated user. So let's assume this counter here, or weather forecast, is this one is an admin page. Now counter here is going to be for the manager, right? Let's say that. All that you need to do here is to add at layout. Now this, call the manager layout, and that is all. So this is going to override the default layout, and I use this as a default layout for this specific page. Let's test it and check it out. So you can see that as soon as the page loads, we have a default layout. So automatically that is what is going to set to admin page. Now we have created a user or manager page or manager layout, and we added that to this weather component. So if I click on this weather component, we should get it. But what is it weather component? Let's check for the counter. Oh yeah. So you can see from the counter, we have a different layout. So anytime that you visit this component, you're going to have a default layout. and in here, so counter, you have a default layout. Now let's say for an unauthenticated user, we want this user to have a login page. So before the user visits, if the user is not authenticated, then kindly have your login page. So in this case, all that you need to do here is to create a component, create a layout component, and set it as default. So let's go to our layout, and here we say add new Blazor component. We say unauthenticated. So this is unauthenticated user layout. So it tells you that if you are not authenticated, this is going to be the layout that you're going to have to visit. Now this should inherit layout component base. In here, let's have our div, and here we're having a class of container. Now with this container, we want to have of row, and now this row we want to have column in there. So div class, and let's have a column. Let's say this is 4, and let's have an offset. Offset as 4. So offset 4 and 4 both sides, giving us 8 plus 4, giving us 12, right? So after we have this, let's have our body here. So this is going to be our body. Now in order for us to have this layout implemented, we need to go to this main layout. That is your app.razor. And now instead of setting your default layout to admin, we want anybody who wants to access either the admin manager, as the admin page or the manager page should be authenticated. So in this case, we want to have unauthenticated layout. So let's say unauthenticated. You need to use let's go to our page, and now let's make sure we have this here. We copy same and I replace it here. So that's going to be our default layout. Now let's go to this, let's create a login page. And now with this login page, we're going to assign this page as, since it is default, it's going to pick it automatically. So let's see, we have our login. Now with this login, we are not specifying any component. It's going to use a default component. So let's create our class, and maybe in here, we're going to create a simple login. So I'll pause the video and I'll create a simple login for sake of wasting time and writing this UI. Alright, so I have a simple login here which takes in an email and password and then having a button. Now with this, since we're having a layout created and we've set that as a default, it means any component which has not explicitly specified layout is going to use that layout. That's the default one set up. So we did that in an app.razor component and we have it in here. All right, so let's go to our admin component. So in here, in our home page, this home page, and also when you go to this, we have our admin layout. So this is our admin layout. Now this admin layout, we want to use this admin layout when you go to the home page. So that is the admin page. So let's use it here, layout, then admin layout. So you can see that we have an admin layout, we have manager layout, and also we have unauthenticated layout, which is set to default. So as soon as you launch your application and want to visit the site, if you're not authenticated, then default layout is going to be the unauthenticated layout, and that is where everybody is going to land on. Let's have a look with this. So the app is loading. Now we are in the home page. So the reason why it came to the home page here, it is because of the route that we specified. So we can say this is admin, and the login is going to be the home page, right? So let's set here as a home page. So this home page is going to use this default layout as an unauthenticated layout. Okay, now let's go and rerun this again. Alright, so you can see that as soon as the page loads, we are into the default page, and now we are in the login page. So you can see we have a default page. So this means that as soon as you create components, you have to make sure you specify the layout that you want to use. Currently we have 3 layouts. Unauthenticated layout is set as default. So if you want to vary that, it means in any component you need to specify the layout. Now if I want to access the admin, and I click on or go to, is it admin page, then I think we're gonna have a different layout together. We have a different layout. Now if I go to manager, that is a counter, you can see it also has a different layout altogether. And there you have it. So multiple layout in Blazor made simple. With this approach, you now have the flexibility to design different layouts for various sections of your application, making it more dynamic and user-friendly. Whether you are building an admin dashboard, a public blog, or an e-commerce checkout page, you can now customize the user experience with ease. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tips on mastering Blazor and .NET 8. And as always, if you have any questions or ideas for future videos, drop them in the comment below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one.